A.L. Mabuje, Akimabuje, is scheduled to deliver this keynote address, and here to represent him is Malam Idris Sulaiman, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Can we please put our hands together for him?
Ladies and gentlemen, though I am not a professor, even if I am, I will be with my professor the only professor with a big B. He told me he is Bushi, and therefore gave me a professorial order. That is the order I know better, because that industry. Come and just say exactly what you wrote. I'm not adding or removing anything. So if you quote it, you are quoting Professor, that's one Professor Sulaiman. So I begin to read. His position in Nigerian cities for economic development. This is the keynote address delivered during our summit, said to provide more multiplier effects than agriculture. And industrialists are seen as agents of modernization. Cities attract manufacturing and other development activities for sectorial sound economic reasons. These include threshold requirements in external economies. Threshold refers to the minimum market size required to make an enterprise or service profitable. Reductions in operating costs resulting from local availability of skilled labor, services, intermediate products, etc. These facilities and services increase costs if they are produced internally. A lack of employment and other opportunities. While the pool factors include prospective jobs and better quality of life. To compound matters for cities, the selective nature of migration, dominated as it is by teenagers and young adults, means that natural increase combined with migration and as a result of components of urban growth. In fact, it is held in sections of the literature that natural increase in cities is more important than migration and urban population, accounting for about 60%. Urbanization in Nigeria was put between 5 to 10%. The problems that bedevil Nigerian cities limit their capacity to become engine of urban economic growth and development. The question, therefore, is how can the situation be turned around so that cities can be in a position to drive Nigeria's economic development? Pushing Nigerian cities to catalyze the development process requires that the problems of its cities be resolved. This paper does not address the question posed above. Question number one, what are the problems of Nigerian cities that weaken their role in promoting development? Above, these problems derive from the problem of over-urbanization. Rapid urbanization creates a host of problems that weaken the roles of cities as engine of economic growth. These problems include pervasive poverty, inadequate housing, a lack of urban services, water supply, sewage, healthcare, education, waste management, and all that, transportation problems, environmental degradation, unemployment, metropolitan fragmentation, underemployment, and the expansion of the informal sector. So these problems are very visible in Nigerian cities, and in a sense, problems of urban governance. It is a common feature of Nigerian cities, and it is a problem in some ways. Metropolitan fragmentation is the breaking up of cities into different local government areas, as a result of which many Nigerian cities do not belong to a single jurisdiction. Cities are not single entities, or are, as he himself observed, they are non-entities. They are not single entities. In fact, they are non-entities. Metropolitan fragmentation as a form of territorial decentralization has its own advantages, one of which the closeness of government in grassroots. There are no single authority in charge of the city. Who is responsible for citywide problems, or who provide citywide services? Finance, urban services. The capital requirement for the development of adequate infrastructure in Nigerian cities is staggering. And economic reform are helping to swell the ranks of the sector on the account of downsizing of workforces, retrenchments, and industrial. Concerning the conventional revenue sources, improved information management system is essential. In this regard, the cadastre is indispensable. Among other things, the cadastre contains information of a number of buildings and the ownership, the extent and value of land as a basis of taxation, and reliable collection of building-related user charges or general tax revenue becomes a lot easier to solve, collecting property-related revenue in our cities. The third important question is, how best can participatory urban governance be promoted in the schools of Africa? Capacity of voluntary, community, and neighborhood groups, in them that are very participatory in their modes of operation. These associations need to be partners in urban development, and their energies and resources need to be more effectively harnessed. Economic history of the developed countries clearly shows that as a country develops, the level of urbanization increases as more and more of its population reside in cities. Therefore, although rural development might mitigate rural to urban migration and reduce the pressure on cities, it should not in any way detract from urban development initiatives. The city is where most Nigerians, and indeed most of humanity, will live in the future. Conclusion. The questions posed above are not exhaustive. For example, the question of capacity and capacity building in urban management, a clearly important question, was not raised. But the questions posed raised some of the issues that should engage the attention of the urban segment. The task of positioning the cities requires an analysis and an understanding of the problems we face. Cause of causes. One of the underlying causes of the problem is funding, and therefore innovative ways addressing the problems need to be devised. Thank you for listening.
Representing a great man like President of Nigeria, TOPREC,
Minister of Environment, Housing and Urban Development, the Honorable Minister of State for Environment, Housing and Urban Development of Delta State, Honorable Commissioners here present, permanent secretaries here present, the President, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure to be part of this history-making effort of organizing the first Nigerian Urban Summit. The concept of Urban Summit was conceived and originated to generate new ideas of urban amenities and urban governance. The World Urban Summit has been held biennially since the first in the year 2011 in Kenya. The Asia-Pacific Urban Summit has also equally been held every other year since 1994 as a forum where leaders of Asia-Pacific region cities can get together to promote friendship, exchange ideas, and mutual cooperation towards solution of urban problems. And rare opportunity for all urban stakeholders, including rural members, because if the city works, the region use of land and physical planning and development implications. Professionalizing of the agricultural sector, development of transport sector through initiation of new routes, release of large parcels of land for all types of development, and massive injection of funds into the irrigation sector will generate series of physical developments and land-based activities that are inextricably interdependent and interrelated, which regional and national developmental problems. It's sad to observe that the institutional framework of the federal government does not play a leading role in terms of legislation and physical development planning and policy formulation and great disadvantage. Globally, leading role in physical planning. The shortcoming should be reversed with a view to keep 99 urban and rural approach is to adapt more physical planning and integrate with economic planning and development. Transition of cities, towns, and urban areas, such that they have become too unwieldy for good urban governance. The mayoralty approach may provide a workable efforts on organizers in hosting this summit at this time, and particularly picking this theme, which is topical and germane to the social, economic, and physical planning and development of our cities. After all, it is often said that it is people that drive the economy of nations. A better city for the people will therefore do well for our drive towards attaining one of the top 20 economies by 2020. I hope that by the end of this summit, given the caliber of persons here, the summit will have achieved its set objectives of defining strategies for making our cities competitive and responsive to global developmental challenges and even fostering cooperation among the cities. I wish us all a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
And the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Environment, Mrs. Arid Okpo, for us to listen to the address